We are Gorn go live. I don't know. The Gorn puns. There's just too many.
Gorn to be live. There you go. That's my contribution officially.
Sure. Yeah. It's good stuff.
Yeah. I like how we jumped from episode 2 back to episode 1 in our analysis week.
Now, I think that's fine.
It is. It's just funny to then go back, but because they were so back to back to back to back brain, it's like, it's all the same. Right? It's all the same videos. Like, no, it's not. Nah, that's all the same.
Yeah.
It was a
Welcome
two-parter.
back, guys. Yeah. We're talking about the Gorn today, in case you can't
I saw your
tell.
title. I didn't know what you called it. Sorry.
Anyway, welcome back. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
The Gorn. We need to talk about it. Or maybe not. I don't know. We've already talked about it quite a bit.
We have, and might not come back. Probably will. Might not be retconned. Maybe. Who's to say? But I want to know what you guys think. How much you care, don't care. Look at the design language. We released a video today on the Gorn. And people time to digest and think. Because in theory, people care about the Gorns.
Digest. That's funny.
Like, do you
Anyway.
care about the Gorn?
I mean, I
Yeah.
do, to the point, so much so that we're making videos about it and talking about it because it bothers me of what's happened to them. So yes, I do. But hopefully you guys do as well.
I'm making a poll now.
Yeah, so there'll be a poll to vote on. You know the routine. You can super chat in any thoughts or comments you have about the Gorn, observations, theories. Did this work for you? Yeah, we want to hear what you guys think. I love Sam's thumbnail with the three, like, except for the animated one. There's no lower decks one there, but that's okay. It's because the proper one from TOS. But yeah, this is a fantastic thumbnail, and the Gorn have undergone a metamorphosis of sorts over the years, which we're going to talk about. And does it fit in canon now that they're hibernating? It'll be a problem for Kirk later because they're a big problem for Kirk apparently. Um, sure, they attacked a colony, but they didn't lay eggs in people that I'm aware of. Uh, Dante says, "Why are they naked?" Well, why not?
I mean, none of them are. Because these shots happen to be, they're all wearing things. Actually, none of
Mm,
them.
that's true. They got loincloths and things like that. So anyway, yeah, going to be a Gorn-filled episode today, and we want your input. We want your thoughts.
We want your Gorn put.
Yes. This guy, I tell you what. Uh, do you care about the Gorn as a race, as a canon, as a thing in Trek? Yes, I want logical Gorn stories. I want TOS Gorn. Keep to them. I love updated Gorn. Awesome. I don't care much about the Gorn. There's the poll. Go vote, guys. We want to hear your thoughts and get your opinions.
And it's definitely a,
Mm.
more than one you could say was your idea. But I want to know what you guys think. If you had to pick one, right? Pick one. Because that's the thing,
Out of these?
Yeah, well, I mean, obviously, I'm saying in general, like for the poll, like you can obviously
Oh,
you can obviously have varying thoughts of this. But I want to, if you had to pick one to be your sentiment overall, because, and I was of course there, but I wasn't there in like social media. Like, how do we all feel? And we'll get into this in the episode. But how do we feel when the Gorn changed into Darkly? Well, would there have been a similar backlash? I'm just saying, right? So like, do you care so much about the visuals or about the logic or about the right? So we'll get into that bit.
yes. Yeah. And hit the like button, guys. 16 likes with 31 of you here. That's only half. We can do better. That's 17 likes. Come on. We raised you better than that. Hit that like button.
Ooh, that's a call out, wasn't it? All
That's a
right.
dadism for sure.
I like it. All right, I'm start sharing. I will see you in a second. Vote now or forever be ready for the next poll.
Vote now or get your chest infested with Gorn. That'll pop out your back. Anyway, yeah, hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Click the notification bell icon to all so you don't miss any content from us. As Sam said, we released a Gorn video earlier today. We have this live. Tomorrow we have another Gorn video, I believe. And then my late night, well, not late night, like 9 p.m. First reaction to the next episode, which will be tomorrow. And then Friday, of course, our review. So join us for all the things. Make sure you're subscribed and notified. And if you want to support the channel and help us out, by all means, consider clicking that join button down there on YouTube. You can join the channel here, or you can head over to Patreon/Trekyards. That's another way to support us on a monthly basis, or just super chat in, or watch the edited content from earlier today and send a super thanks. It all adds up and it all helps the channel and the algorithm, and it supports us immensely. So if you can do so, please do. And yes, do I need to say more? Probably. This dead air is not good air. So, which reminds me, there's a description down below. There are 2 links in that description. One for the Teespring store, one for the TeePublic store. Both have cool Trekyards merch. Both have a lot of other merch. Click the links, check out the stores, put some stuff in your cart, buy some stuff, whether it's Trekyards related or not. And yeah, that also helps us out immensely. So lots of ways for you to help and support the channel. Just watching, commenting in the regular chat, but sharing the videos around, liking the videos that come out, whether they're edited or not, commenting on the videos. There's lots of ways to interact with the channel and help the algorithm and help the channel. So please do all the things that you need to do. And yeah, we will give you a big thank you in the form of content all the time. Oh wait, we already do that.
And in fact,
Yeah.
I'm gonna put the gauntlet down. Today's Gorn video, as you said, algorithms be algorithm, is at 58 likes. Today's Gorn video. I want to see everybody go in and like that right now, because if you do go in and like that video, 58, well, we could jump up by what, a good 20 people. So yeah, go like. I want to see a like spike. It takes a few seconds, right? If that, I mean, really, right? If you have that
Yeah.
fancy Google foldable, you could like sub tab off and do it at the same time. Even take 0 seconds. I mean, take seconds. But have you ever wanted to get a foldable phone or a flip phone? That ever intrigued you?
My buddy Jay has one, and it opens up to a really big screen, and I
Yeah,
really like it. But I don't know. I don't know. I like my iPhone,
yeah, yeah. The
and they don't
latest,
make that.
yeah. Well, they're going to soonish, like within the next, like, yeah. The new Samsung is quite cool. They've There's a company that made it a tri-fold, the same thickness as a dual fold for everywhere else. And also made
Oh
people
wow.
go, "Oh God, we're all letting ourselves down." But it's like, yeah, but it's like so razor thin that I mean, right? So you can snap it in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
But it's like obviously this is shred if you drop it, so it's all relative how you use it. But just very impressive considering. I like that. Like if it could be this thickness and this camera, which is really impossible because you need a certain amount of space, and use it 90% time like this, then 10% fold it up. It's like I have this stylus that I use a day a month,
Yeah.
but when I use it, it's actually really useful as a camera shutter button. Yeah. So yeah, do you think Gorn would like a flip or a fold out? Do you think? Vote now, guys,
Uh,
in the new poll I'm just setting up internally. Do you think the Gorn would appreciate a flip out phone or a fold phone? Tell us right now. I'm not joking. Tell us.
Probably a flip would be my guess. Easier to open with those claws.
Just put it down the loincloth thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Christian says I even like the game Gorn from the JJ verse. Yeah, the Gorn in that are quite interesting as well. They're much more like the Strangely Worlds Gorn,
Yeah.
honestly,
Seriously.
but
Mm-hmm.
maybe a little bit better because they're not as yeah, they're not as creaturey. Like they are, but we haven't seen their young. Who knows? They're not like xenomorphs.
Well, they're
Maybe they are. I don't know.
well, they're crocodiles, aren't they? They're on that slant.
Yeah, fast moving crocodiles.
Yeah, thin.
Keith Jeffrey, 1974,
Hi,
throws in
Keith.
five
Thank
pounds.
you.
I like the stories in Strange New Worlds. These aliens did not need to be Gorn, though. Doesn't quite fit with what we know from TOS.
Mm.
Totally agree. They're a fantastic alien species and a menace, but I wish they weren't the Gorn because if you watch Arena, which I assume some of you have,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
the whole point was Kirk is like humans are naturally, repelled. Find these
mm-hmm.
reptilian creatures repulsive.
Yep.
Then so he's going to kill it, and then he decides not to because it's a sentient being and it's captain of a starship.
Mm-hmm.
That's the whole point. That's this Strange New Worlds retcon is basically making them mindless monsters who just, yeah, despite their sentience, have animalistic tendencies. They're very feral. They use other species as incubators. Like that's a problem. That's a problem. So
Well,
yeah.
it's funny how you jumped in with a trying to be the fair and balanced point, and I absolutely commend you for that. We do try, especially when we don't like something, we try and whatever. But you said it's still a great species, irrespective of being Gorn. Is it a great, interesting race so far? Are they not just xenomorphs with spaceships?
Yeah, they are. And I think if take out the spaceship bit and have them moving planet to planet some other way and just be feral, using colonists as incubators, I think would be much more scary because
Sure. Yeah.
they can't reason with them. They
What?
never even tried to reason with the Gorn, I don't think, in these
No.
episodes, honestly. So
But see, I don't think. I think Arena was interesting because of how it framed it. I wouldn't say they're particularly interesting in this show. The fact that we made jokes about the fact that in our, I think
I
our,
meant visually, they're cool.
oh, just individuals.
Yeah, like as a the visual of an alien
Oh, okay.
that's something to be feared. Yeah, bang on.
Okay. So I was meaning just the entire presentation point.
No, no, no. I meant
Ah,
like the look. The
right.
updated look
Okay. Let
is
me
fantastic.
readjust my
Yeah.
phrasing then. Well, I mean, I would love to see the prosthetic man person suit in reality because I'm sure that was super expensive. It looks great. Um,
Hmm.
it's funny how exact same thing with the marionettes in the first appearance. The fact they went practical for I think like 50% ish, if not a bit more. A saves money because once it's there, you can whatever as many takes as you want, give or take. Although it takes a few takes to get the take because of course you can't control it perfectly. But because it was real, as opposed to the giant suit as well, you can't. Well, you can. It'll look bad. You can't just film it walking across the set because it can't. But you can film it doing and so the way you shoot is turned by the creature, which gives it this interestingly um, ethereal is the wrong word, but it's picking its moments to be seen,
Hmm.
which makes it interesting, right? It's more of a Jaws villain than that you're not really just seeing it, which is where a CG one would potentially be obnoxious. I don't know, right? So I certainly it gives them a vibe, which ironically is slightly broken by this episode where you see them running earlier. It's like, oh, they can do
Hmm.
that at the same time they're also standing still. I'm also sort of committed to that being their vibe, which also fits with TOS, right? They're slow moving. Like actually having them be slow moving
Hmm.
would have been interesting because how do you make a slow moving reptile a threat?
Well, I mean,
Don't know.
yeah, and they had plenty of opportunities to do that. I mean, on their own ship, I don't have a problem with being fast and agile because different atmosphere, different gravity, whatever. But yeah, on the colony or when we see them on the derelict spaceship, the Somber class.
Ah,
Ugh.
yes,
Um,
yes, yes.
if they were a little bit slower and sluggisher because it was different environmental conditions,
Yeah,
I would kind of love that actually. Because that's I think the reason behind the arena thing was it was a different planet, might not have been used to the gravity, something, because it was very slow and it wouldn't be much to really get around behind them and, in a fight you'd have the upper hand with agility, right? So
that's a really astute observation as well, and that's where I we've still got a little bit to go, right? So we can't per se judge them exactly. They might be a
yeah.
grand payoff. Well, this certainly isn't that. But yeah, if they had truly, and they haven't done that stuff so far, but if they truly said, "Yeah, we're going to create these new rules for the Gorn, they're going to look different," fine. Out of their suit on a planet, they're slow. In space, in a spacesuit, they're slow, and we're going to see that throughout the show. Right.
Hmm.
So we're going to see them be this this hulking threat that's whatever. But then when we finally are on their ship, which would have been the end of the start of season 3, this big payoff, and now suddenly they're like 50% faster, 80% faster because it's the right atmosphere, and that becomes a payoff of the episode. They can't run away because they're so fast, and it's like Gorn are fast in their atmosphere. That could have been a thing, right? They obviously haven't done that. And there's nothing there in that, but that I could see being quite interesting. Now, if you're going very clever, which they haven't done, obviously. You could have had just recreate the Gorn from TOS, which they're obviously able to do, but a bit more advanced, like the same look, just animatronics. All this can move. The eyelids can change. Even if you want to go, the eyelids can shift up, and you see the slit eyes, and they have both. Fine with that, right? They shift the eyes, no problem. And if you saw him, because he's a physical suit, but nowadays again, Linus, good example, although more padded, but you can do that, right? If he was the original TOS Gorn is the design of the Gorn, at least we see them physically in Strange Worlds. It's like, oh my god, they're back! That's crazy! Wow. And we see them on the planet. That's one thing. And as soon as we cut to their ship, there's 3 of them. They're walking fast. They're moving. They're agile. And it's the TOS Gorn. It's like, you just changed the rules a bit, but I like it. They're actually quite. And then their claws come out. All this oppressive atmospheres, oppressive gravity. Even so much as maybe the eyes were there because they had to shield their natural eyes from the atmosphere of the planet. So actually they have you could do that. Interpret Darkly, different universe, fine, different rules, we can live with that, right? But that'd be so interesting to see if they just embrace the TOS design and then force contrived situations in Strange Worlds to have them be fought on their own home field advantage, which makes them faster, stronger, more agile, see better, maybe see in the dark. Right? They could have done that really well. And they've had their cake and eat it too. You imagine seeing a TOS Gorn suddenly be a giant threat, like a xenomorph. Like he could suddenly put his claws into the walls, designed to go around and go into events. Like there was designated ways around the ship that are ridiculously xenomorph-like, but that's how the Gorn culture is on their own ships, right? They're able to get anywhere. Could have been really concerning and a real juxtaposition of styles. And then they could be a big twist of we'll just change the gravity in one section that we've taken control of to 0.7, and that's now oppressive. It brings them right down. They've Instead, we get the middle one, which is just that.
Yeah, well, changing the gravity is something they did in Mirror Darkly. They
did.
They upped the gravity on that plate, which makes him very slow and couldn't move.
And he walks up and shoots him in the face.
Yeah.
Ouch.
Let's see. Ragados says, "Can the commander turn up his volume? I can't hear him." I just listened in on the live, and I think it's fine. If anybody else is having an issue, let us know. But
yeah, if everyone's maybe it's just compared to you. I don't know, but I'm gonna up it in 3, 2, 1, up. I've now upped it by about 10%. Is that better?
Yeah.
My desk is a bit low, so I'll do that as well. Up it by 30%, and now I should be very loud. How are we all doing? Blah blah blah.
Okay, good.
Do I sound different to you now? Do I sound different?
Not on Teams, no.
Okay, excellent.
That's it. Yeah, now you sound better on the live, yeah. All right, Ozzy, $5. The Gorn Starships fast. Great Koala, turn up their volume. Okay, there you go. Sergeant Montgomery says, "I'm thinking the feral Gorn live on the outskirts of the hegemony, a separate, lawless, evolved caste." Sure, we've said that before, but would you really, as the Gorn, on the inner part?
Right, so I'm being the Gorn now. I'm going to be the Gorn. Is that what you're saying?
You're the Gorn from TOS, the smart kind of diplomatic Gorn.
Okay, I'm there.
Would you want a feral cast of Gorn that are out on the outskirts of your system that randomly go into other governing bodies' systems to invade them and hence have them retaliate with a fleet coming for you because of these asshole feral Gorn? Or would you want to subdue them and or take them out entirely because they're giving Gorn a bad name? You give Gorn a bad name. Anyway, you know what I mean? Like, it seems dangerous to just have random Gorn that are representing the Gorn but not representing the Gorn going invading other species space, So I like the idea of this is a different version of the Gorn, and we talked about that when we first saw them because we wanted to explain away why they look different. But yeah,
Well, I've
still
answered
hopeful
your
for that. But at the same time,
I've answered your question though. Would they let bad Gorn do bad things? Ready for the answer?
sure,
Fuck it.
let them do what they want. We can take on whatever comes our way.
Yeah, classic. Fuck it. It's okay.
Okay,
You know.
perfect. Yeah,
I mean, also there could be some. I mean, obviously now we're going super far outside the realm of what they did. But there could be some very literal, Gorn hierarchy right now that are like, right, the leash is not out. Yeah,
these are making everybody else be afraid of us because we're not actually that vicious.
I mean,
Let them think. Yeah,
again, the brutal fact is, there's so many ways they could fix this, and we still might see it by the end, right? Although at that point it becomes a retcon because they've known it hasn't quite worked. All they have to do, and this is a season 5 thing, right? So in season 5, so we have say 3 more Gorn episodes in seasons 3 and 4, right? Cool. We'll do it exactly down this line, no change, just whatever they were planning. And season 5, you've got this episode where we actually cut to Gorn space, and there's a Gorn fleet of the current ships, and then out of the blue, warps in an updated version of the TOS Gorn ship, and it cuts to them, and it's a Gorn as we know from TOS, but it's like updated, and he's talking in subtitles to another Gorn, same suit, just split screen, and he's like, "Fire on the Extrainer vessel," and then one of the big capital ships goes. You're like, Jesus Christ, okay, wow. And then he hails, saying, the rule of the XR Gorn is now over. The Renar Gorn is among us. Bow or die. And it's like, oh shit. And then news comes to April, and he calls Pike saying, yes, there's been a Gorn civil war where the ruling species for the last 50 years has been brutally attacked by the other species who want to, have a hierarchy system which revolts every 100 years, we think. And now the TOS Gorn has taken over brutally, and they've like something big like that could be super interesting, and then explain why the culture shifts so radically. I don't know, what do you think? Because I visualized that as I was saying it, it seemed pretty cool.
no, that would be cool. I mean, you're right. There are a lot of ways they could fix it. While you were talking there, I even thought of season 5. They have a diplomatic, meeting of the different factions to establish, just treaty negotiations in general. And they get word that the Gorn is coming. They're sending a representative, and everybody's on edge. La'an is on edge. Ortigas is on edge.
Yeah, super on edge, probably.
Patel is very on edge.
Oh my god.
And the Gorn that walks in the room looks very similar to a TOS Gorn. And we get a little bit of an explanation from this diplomat or ambassador for the Gorn, talking about we apologize for the inconvenience.
Sorry, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, they don't represent the main Gorn hegemony, and we have put measures in place to kind of keep them out of your space. Something like that would be interesting.
That was
as
my
well.
cousin Jeff. I'm really sorry, guys.
His name is Jeff.
He just got out of hand. He wasn't meant to get out of our borders. Yeah. No, exactly. I mean, there's so many ways you can handle it super effectively, and they might, but that's taking the entire chain in a different place.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just so odd. They've done so many effective, in this show, alien updates. I mean, the Andorians, Hellrites, and the Bolians, this last episode, 0 complaints. Cool. So why just take the Gorn and throw them entirely away? It seems odd compared to what they have done, right? Just of all the things, we're just going to throw them out. It's like, yeah, but you've done a really good job at, at maintaining
and creating a viable threat. That's not always easy to do. The Gorn are scary now. If you just started watching Strange New Worlds and you hadn't seen Arena, the Gorn would be a terrifying concept. In TOS, I never once considered them terrifying. Sure, they were bombing a colony. Then we get the explanation that it was their space. The Federation had encroached, which they didn't realize they had done, and that was that was the reason for all of this. Again, establishing the fact that you can, speak to the Gorn, you can work with the Gorn. Um, so yeah, kind of it's yeah. I don't even know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought. But anyway, um, oh yeah, the scary like for a new modern audience, yeah, it's a scary alien horror type creature. But yeah, I never got that sense from TOS growing up. I just thought the Gorn were just another race, like the
Mm.
Romulans or the Klingons. That yeah, the Federation encroached on their territory. They defended the planet, and the misunderstanding was cleared up by the Metrons, who said, "Don't fight." Yeah,
Well, yeah, they weren't like the most special,
yeah,
if that makes sense. They had so many one-off creatures, and that's absolutely fine. You know, it does. They don't need to be the most special.
hmm
Yeah, if you're a brand new person watching Stranger Worlds, because really they're the effective main villain of Stranger Worlds. Klingons were sort of medium good guys. Romulans were alternate timeline, so you wouldn't take them seriously, as in like if you're a newcomer. But because I mean, there's one episode where they mention in season 2 the Gorn are doing some stuff,
hmm
but they've only been in like 4 episodes, and 2 of them feel like a conclusion. So even if that was, they are the primary thread of the show. What are they? They're a big ship or two with some fighters that are able to take out the Enterprise probably, but also plot armor, right? Is how it kind of feels. And they're breeding planets, but they don't necessarily kidnap people. They kind of do, but kind of don't. Like, we don't really see that. Like we needed something in between, like straight, almost like a contrast point of seeing the original episode where they are the whatever was left as the younglings. And then the next time we see them, which is the same season or straight in season 2, now they're suddenly only adult Gorn, and they're doing really high end stuff like tactics, beaming, grabbing an entire colony like whole cloth. Like we just, you know what I mean, like doing that level of high end thinking.
hmm
But to go from A to B to C is like okay, like if they're the main threat to Stranger Worlds, they are lackluster a lot, right?
yeah. Nikki191 says their empire is an hegemony that straight up implies that they are different species and groups, with one group ruling over the rest. Good point. Didn't really consider that.
Is that what hegemony means then?
Yeah, I believe so.
Ah, yeah,
Ra- Rakidos, $2.
it's
They
much.
can be intelligent without wanting to coexist. Oh, for sure. But
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the point was with that one. Not wanting to coexist and straight up like attacking your neighbors and planting eggs in them is a different situation altogether.
Well, it's just their life
So,
cycle, right? It's not particularly like it's not even that special for them. It's just like well, that's what we do.
yeah.
But even like now they've given explicit evidence that all of their actions has been based on solar flares.
Yeah.
Like they're only attacking people because to solar flare. That's it. That's it. There's no other reason.
Yeah.
Pretty simple animalistic. Not necessarily a problem. Just like oh okay, right? Like okay, sure.
hmm Um, after all the people that after all the people that the Gorn killed, why would the Federation make friends with them? The Metrons kidnapped both captains and offered to destroy the losers. So much for a peaceful solution. Yeah, but because Kirk didn't kill the Gorn, they were both returned to their ships, and both their ships survived. Um, and yeah, even though you get attacked by a warring state, you do hope for diplomatic solutions down the road where there won't be any more killing or invading. Like, so yeah, they killed a lot of people, but the Federation would still want to make nice and have a peace treaty, so they're not always on guard. You know what I mean? So that's why.
Yeah, I don't really get the point. The idea is to be friends with everybody. I mean, the Klingons, all sorts of wars, all sorts of negativity. It just right. It always you want to be friends with them. Don't really get the point.
Yeah. Melanie says, not fighting doesn't have to mean be friendly to the evil creatures that killed your relatives. Well, no, but you would hope that. And this goes like Star Trek 6, right? Where Kirk's like, I've never trusted the Klingons and I never will.
Mm-hmm.
He grew up in an era where Klingons killed people, killed his own son, and he doesn't trust them. He will probably never will, but he's also at the age where he's like, something has to change. And you would hope that the next generation that's coming up would not have to experience that. So eventually they would have to become friends, you would hope, as an evolution of your culture and species and society, that you would establish treaties that make it so that everything's peaceful and nobody's getting killed or attacked. So yes, the old mindset still creeps in. Like you grew up hating them, the propaganda was there.
Mm.
So when it comes to peace talks, you don't trust them and you're stuck in your ways. That's what Star Trek 6 was all about. And I think it was well done, if I'm honest. Even Kirk realized that at the end of that movie that, yeah, there are still some good Klingons that we can make nicey nice with. They're not all the same.
Yeah, he's allowed his negative feelings, but it's how it affects you in other ways. He
Yeah.
hasn't have to suddenly like Klingons for murdering his son, but he also shouldn't be negative them for
Judging
being Klingons.
everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shouldn't judge an entire race by the actions of a few, right?
Yeah.
The Dark Eddy, the Gorn shown in lower decks are all of the TOS variety, so streaming Kurtzman Trek is clearly trying to have it both ways. Yes. And this is the conversation we had when we saw the new Klingons in Discovery. Like there's many ways they could have got themselves out of that and had it fit in canon, make sense, be clever.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do any of them. It's the same thing with the
Yet.
Gorn. Yeah, sure. It's the same thing with the Gorn. There's a lot of ways that they can cleverly get their way out of this and have it both ways. Have both kinds of Gorn and have an explanation for why. But will they do that? I don't believe they will. So
And the Klingon, they just abandoned it.
mhm.
In essence. I just
Mhm.
won't talk about it again. Which is safer bet. But still. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so anticlimactic, and especially as and that's the irony, right? Taking Stranger Worlds as actual canon, like 100%. Cannot lower decks in a sense of like, are the satirical silliness true canon, right? Debatable. But if we're actually saying that Stranger Worlds is actually 100% canon, then the Stranger Worlds Enterprise was able to warp from the edge of the new Gorn border to their home world, the home system, in under a day because the life cycle of Gorn would kill Patel. And given they're only maxed out at like warp 5, warp 6 TNG scale, and we've got the math for that, it's only a few light years. So if we're taking it literally as canon, because that's what you're saying, right? If the visuals are taken to be canon, so can everything, because space isn't just small or big, right? Then are you seriously saying that? I mean, he did it transpose it was the homeworld, but that you would make your homeworld on the edge of your space, you only go that way and just ignore that way, because that's their home system and it's on the edge of their space.
Yeah.
Why?
Hmm.
Because it's not a week in, it's not 2 weeks in, can't be. Literally can't be, as per every part of the
That
episode.
should be. Yeah.
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 So if that's not canon, then the visuals don't have to be canon either, because, right? Like, if you're going literally, then one means both are true. Because in TNG, you use both as the canon, right?
Yeah.
Which is why kind of Star Trek 5 is tricky, because they bullshit a few things.
Rakidos. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Gorn also border the Klingons, so the Federation might not be the only reason the Gorn are violent. No, there's plenty of reasons for the Gorn to be violent, but they're violent just by their very nature in the way that they breed and so it's a different situation,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
That's why we say feral, because they're just doing things on instinct.
Mm.
So yeah, I'm sure that they're attacking the Klingons as well. Because I've said this before, but in Starfleet
Sure.
battles, they have a border with the Romulans, and the Romulans and the Gorn have a
Hmm.
big problem with each other for like almost a century. And in the game Starfleet battles, the Romulans and the Gorn both have plasma torpedoes, so they can equal out their firepower.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, yeah,
Hmm.
and beta canon, but still very interesting. Hmm.
Yeah, and it's odd to think they are they're neighboring Klingons because the D7 is smaller than the Enterprise, and so can you imagine being a Klingon commander being Chang, who is alive at this point, and you're a lieutenant in the KDF, you brought your fleet of 35 D7s, and as one Gorn capital ship comes in, as the size of your entire fleet, and then it also brings 70 or 80 fighters. You know what I mean? Like if that again taken as literal canon, that the power level of this fleet is insane. Don't get that feeling from
Mm,
TOS, right?
yeah. Uh, Gara Miles says there was a Star Trek video game with some great Gorn designs. Not STO. This was for Xbox and PlayStation. It was made in 2013, I think. Yeah, we
Mm-hmm.
talked about that at the beginning of the live. That was the 2009 Star Trek video game.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was made in closer to
Yeah, I think it came out with Into
2013 though.
Darkness, if I recall.
Yeah. It was a really good game actually when it worked properly. I played the whole thing through, and I did like the Gorn designs in that.
Do they
They weren't,
speak?
I believe so. Yeah.
Because I would think that would be
Uh,
important to the narrative, so they're not just creatures, right?
I think the real reason I liked them because they were on the Enterprise in
Hmm.
engineering, and you actually saw the real engineering
Yep.
of the Enterprise, not a goddamn brewery. It's how it should have looked in the movie. So I think that's one of the things that made me happy. So when I saw the Gorn, I just didn't care that they were a little bit different design, but they were very much a nemesis. They were fast moving. They looked more reptilian than the TOS one, but yeah, I mean it's a video game of alternate reality, right? So it's fine. It's Calvinverse.
Pretty much.
There's another thing I want to read here. Where
Yep.
is it? Why can't I find it? Oh, it was up here further. Dan Ben says Gorn was slated to appear in the movie Star Trek Nemesis as a friend of Worf's at Riker's bachelor party, but it was cut. Interesting. I didn't know that. That would
Although,
have been cool to see.
although, given the movie like starts with a wedding, every before that as a bachelor party, which would be a whole different thing. The weird thing about Nemesis is that I've heard from people who've read the script, it's 1,000 times better than the film. And there's like a good 25 minutes deleted scenes that are all pretty good, that are all character based. Like everyone
Yeah.
gets a goodbye scene at the end, but they cut all of them. How much did
Wow.
how much did they write for this film? Because it's already not a short film. It's half an hour
Yeah.
deleted scenes anyway, and that sort of scene. Like, I guess it's funnier to go from murdering the entire Roman Senate to a Gorn at a bachelor party on the Enterprise of Worf, but then
Mm.
you have to cut from that to the wedding. And a bachelor party and a wedding, back to back scenes aren't. That's now dragged on. As much as we love
Hmm.
them, we don't watch 30 minutes of their love drama in a movie about fighting Remans. And that was probably a really early draft before they were getting married at the start of the film, because that doesn't structurally make sense.
It makes for a good miniseries idea, like
Well,
6 episodes, but
it's a lot of
yeah.
Nemesis that we never got to see. It's a funny old thing.
The Darth Eddie, part of me thinks the Strange New Worlds Gorn redesign might stem from the Into Darkness and McCoy saying how aggressive Gorn hatchlings are. Someone thought, cool. In the
Mm.
Kelvin timeline, they're mean from birth. Yeah, and we said this at the time too. We don't have a problem with the youngsters being like feral and attacking and everything once they pop out to feed to get big because they got big pretty quick. We don't have a problem with that. And we said we'd like to see the adult Gorn who are trying to like reel them in because they get calmer, they get more sentient, more civilized as they get older.
Yeah.
And these ones escaped somehow,
Yeah.
and they usually confine them to breeding planets within their system so that kind of shit doesn't happen. It's the survival of the fittest.
Mm-hmm.
The strongest ones survive. Once they get to a certain age, they bring them, they train them, they teach them. Yeah, that would be great. Um, so yeah, I don't have a problem with the young ones being vicious or aggressive. That's fine. But
I think we even said at the time that we had faith that they were going to show the TOS Gorn as the adults, and these would just be the youngs.
yeah, yes, we did
But
it.
we
We
could
did very
benefit the
much so.
doubt. Of course, they wouldn't let us down like that. Oh.
That being said, the Gorn in the spacesuit in last season was really cool. Like the spacesuit
Mm-hmm.
visual was awesome, and then we also got a little bit of hope back. Like this is a more evolved Gorn that we're going to actually hear some dialogue from, and the true universal
Mm.
translator would be able to actually speak to them. We haven't done that, but we know they have a language. We know they're intelligent enough to have computer codes and transporter buffers.
Yeah.
In this last episode,
Well, again,
so
and their ship is insanely big. To build that,
yeah,
like the construction, but also why the hell are you building like giant ships, all these negative space, and how hard is that to build? I guess they build in space because it's a ridiculous thing to build on a planet's surface.
no,
Don't know. Yeah, it's. I would love to have gone to that writer's room and hear the initial pitch, because
yeah,
they've done so many things well, but the Gorn they've just dropped the ball so hard, and it's obviously all intentional, right? They're obviously doing their own thing intentionally. This is not, whatever. They know this is even more parallel. They know all these things. It'd be so interesting to go back to the writer's room and have the discussion of like, all right, so who we want to let's bring back a TOS alien. Oh, how many have we got? Good 2 dozen. Okay, well what's something we haven't seen much that we could do? Gorn. Oh, who are the Gorn? Oh, they're reptilian creatures that were very advanced. Okay, cool. CG or practical? Let's do practical. Okay, cool. Right, but you can't meet them yet because they're. Oh, okay, we can't meet them yet. Well, what if you? Right, you can see the layers start to go. At what
I
point
mean an
they?
offshoot of them, so you don't actually see the real Gorn.
At what point did they say, let's just throw it all away and do our own thing? It's the only thing, apart from the set design stuff, which is like, just throw it away and do our own thing. As we've said before, if they'd ended season 2, right, with before the Pike ending, right? If they'd ended season 2 with the Gorn attacking, bad things on the planet, maybe we see feral Gorn or Gorn warriors attack, it's in some way near to the well, I guess we did see that with Patel the Shuttle, so we know they're there, right? And hard cuts the Gorn mothership, and there's a LED wall set, and it's a normal Gorn from TOS saying, "And now we have you, Enterprise." And then the Pikes lost, it seems. They are there.
Mm-hmm.
And now you ask the questions. Oh, there's 3 completely different looks for these aliens: Xenomorph, babies, warrior, and TOS. And boom, you've got everyone back. Everyone's on side, right?
Mm-hmm. Let's do it.
Well, yeah, let's do it. And as Phil said, you could already have, almost already have that one Gorn that we see in TOSB and Augment. He's deliberately been altered and improved to lead. So not make him standard, which also be acceptable because we haven't seen all Gorn.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the best outcome, but yeah, if he is a higher intelligence, genetically born leader, okay, cool. That's why he's more whatever. And then by low decks, the advanced creatures are now salesmen.
Yeah, well,
Because it's all a Gorn wedding, so we know they all look like those.
yes, we did.
Normalized it, which we need. But guys, super chat your thoughts. It's 50 people here and super chat for a long time. They help us go, as you know. Love to get core 5s, giving your thoughts on Gorn. You know what? Super chat how annoyed you are with this Gorn design. $2, whatever. Let us know how annoyed you are, genuinely.
Indeed.
What you guys think?
The Darth Eddie brings up a good point as well. Enterprise did tease the Gorn for one scene in season 4 when the male Orion offers Archer and Malcolm a Gorn beverage. Clearly, the Gorn understand the concept of brewing and distilling drinks. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Not all Gorn are feral, don't you know? Yeah.
I mean, that's very fair. That's funny. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know, it's just hard to judge until they get to the end. And how many times do they then fix things after the fact as well, right? Oh, we'll just
Yeah.
retcon this last thing, like making, like, I don't know if it was intentional, but making the Discovery time guy who's not time guy to be Daniels, right? Was that intentional? Hell no, right? But it's a fine little retcon. It can change a few things, but fine.
Hmm.
I mean, boy, even just like, 2 decades ago, Star Trek Enterprise made a conscious choice to go against the grain in season 1, to do their own thing, to have Klingons and Romans, all these things early because they want to explore them. And it took Manikoto to come in and say, nope, the ship is all wonky. Let's course correct and make it be a truly spiritual prequel to TOS and start to add to TOS by doing faithful pre stuff. And guess what? It's popular season, did some great stuff. So maybe, hopefully, in the same vein, they'll say, season 5, let's finally give them fans what they want. Don't think they're going to do it because they like their show. But
Hmm.
ah,
Ozzy throws in $5. So thank you so much, Ozzy. Ken Gord need the wedding planner Trelane and dance. Oh, it'd be cool if the wedding planner for the Gorn wedding was Trelane. An Andorian wedding planner.
or if the Gorn had been at the wedding, that'd have been kind of funny, as in like in a positive way. And Mr. Draj says basically Kazinti. What if they'd been the Kazinti?
I've been better because we didn't. I mean, we had seen the Kinzinti in the animated series and stuff, but um, that would have been more interesting, I think, because we don't really know much about them or how their society works. Again, there's Kinzinti and Starfleet battles, so you kind of get a backstory there if you played that. But it's one of those things where I think the Gorn, because of Arena, like the whole point of Arena was to show that we shouldn't be afraid of them just because they're different than us, or over a misunderstanding. Uh, the Gorn are a great visual, though, so I understand why Strange New Worlds would want to use them and even make them more scary because they come out and said that these are just the Gorn now because we wanted a more vicious, scary looking adversary. But when you're trampling on canon to do so, that's a problem. The Kinzinti would be wide open. So would the Lyrans.
Yeah,
Hearing about the Lyrans would have been
yeah.
cool as well.
But then you say they're a great visual, but they didn't use any of the visuals. Like these are
But they were
it's
like
an
the reptilian.
unrecognizable Gorn. And
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Like you look at the Gorn in Amir Darkly or TOS, you're like, that's a cool alien. Like that definitely just looks distinctly alien. And you're like, okay, that's good, but it's reptilian, so why don't we make it look more scary? Like we're thinking Jurassic Park here, guys.
yeah, 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 yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so that's like the conversation that happened. They just wanted to make. They didn't want to have like, oh, somebody will say that's a rubber suit
Despite
because I
having
can see
lots of
that
rubber
argument
suits.
coming up. That's why in Amir Darkly it's all CG,
Hmm.
and sure, it doesn't look great, but it still looks like it could be a Gorn.
Hmm.
It was dressed in clothing. You know, it 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 still has the same similar head crests and things like that. The new ones don't. They just feel like a horror movie monster. So
And Dan Ben reminds us there's a Gorn skeleton in season 1 Discovery, which is the correct design.
exactly the right skull. Yep. And Lorca's
So,
menagerie. They forgot about that. They didn't even know that was a thing.
which is funny because as little as Discovery is canon, truly, like,
We called them out for that. Like that's
oh, everyone
awesome to
did.
see that.
Yeah, it's hard to make
Yeah.
that crazy, but
Yeah.
like they did Gorn, and this is meant to be that. It's just odd because there's been something else. I don't remember what show or TV, but where they fundamentally changed a alien race so much, but clearly they use the name recognition value to people and
Hmm.
watch it. And that's just what they've done here. There's no Gorn-isms whatsoever in this creature, apart from being reptilian. The design's not the same. The clothing's not the same. The ship's not the same. The voice
Yeah.
vocals isn't the same. Like, it is entirely unique. There's nothing about it that says Gorn. Nothing. Except it's green. Probably, but there's a few green things in whatever. They almost look more like Zindia Aquatics, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But by calling them Gorn, you get us discussing it. Because if it was just the Agreth, we probably wouldn't have made a single video on them. No offense to them.
Well,
Because they'd just be, oh,
if
it's cool, it's Xenomorphs.
if it would have been the Agreth, I love that you just came up with that. Um, I would have complained, as I did with Enterprise. It's like,
Hmm.
guys, you've got all this stuff you can use, and you're creating the fucking Zindi. Like, why not have them be the Interstellar Concordium, which is the same thing? But anyway, it's fine.
But that's the
So
thing.
yeah,
You can't win because
yeah.
they don't use them. You complain. They use them to complain.
Well, if they use them properly, I wouldn't complain.
Yeah, you can win.
Use them, and don't change them. Even if they had changed the visuals, but they still
Kept the
spoke
Xenomorph.
and
Well, see,
what's that?
if they kept the visuals but gave them the life cycle, so they are just Linus style TOS updates, but they still had the four-legged Xenomorphs. They still had the life cycle. They just were faithful, and even like they had, like in this episode recently, if they had their spacesuits, but they like gave them enhanced movement, so if they could do the same like crazy running and like what we saw, like all the same thing but the classic design. Would you feel betrayed that they made them too OP and xenomorphy? Or would it be add
Maybe.
on?
If it was explained in dialogue that they have a life cycle, and you hear a conversation with one on the view screen, talking about you've encroached on our territory, kind of reiterating the arena thing, like they're very cognizant of their territory, almost instinctually so. So when the Federation gets a little too close or overlaps it unknowingly, they get kind of pissy. If there was something like that going on, and still you could add the life cycle and the xenomorph shit, I would have been okay. That's fine. That's just a different stage of the Gorn that we didn't see, obviously, because we saw them in one episode,
And low decks.
uh, and the animated series.
Apart from those.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Like if
Hmm.
there had been some just interaction with the Gorn where they speak,
But also you'd complain because they first met in TOS. If Pike meets them and Uhura's on the
they
bridge
didn't
and
say that. They didn't say that in Arena.
no, I know, but that's part of the vibe is that they aren't communicating. Like Kirk is surprised to talk to it. So if they just have full conversations as part of the war battle fleet in this season, you'd be like, well, what? Why is he surprised he can talk to it or not? They talked to it years ago. Like like having that level of
Yeah,
communication,
I guess I see what you're saying there.
especially if Spock and Uhura are there. It's another like
Yeah,
what doesn't make sense. So there's right. That's why if you didn't say they were Gorn, it's so difficult to do. Right, this unknown alien race attacked us. Yeah, it is a really tricky challenge and they failed miserably, right? That's the point. They went their own route and they failed horribly. But the poll has 106 votes, which is phenomenal. Let's read out the results. The question was, do you care about the Gorn as a race, as a canon, as canon, as a thing in Trek? Close one. It has two close scores. Yes is the winner just with 37%. Yes, I want logical Gorn stories, which means just I like the Gorn, just want good stories. Don't matter what design, just good stories, logical, cool. And logical is important there. 1% under, 36%. I want the tier West Gorn. And keep to them,
yes.
so that's the classic. That's obviously 37 people. 14% I don't care much about the Gorn, so Blair. And 13% I
There.
love the update. So only 14 people out of our 100 actually like the new Gorn as the main answer. Interesting.
Yeah. Darth Eddie, frankly, they should have just made the Gorn, the Strange New Worlds Gorn, the Zenkethi. We know almost nothing about the Zenkethi from DS9, anyways, much less when First Contact happened. They would have hit a home run. Probably, yeah. Classic for real, $2. Ah, Gorn wedding.
We loved that episode. That was a joy, that episode.
Now, I want to ask you this question, Sam, because I know you made the thumbnail, but from the thumbnail, I would say the Strange New Worlds Gorn do look more like the Enterprise Gorn, says Devo77. I'm the opposite way. I mean, they updated them in the Mirror Darkly Gorn to look more dinosaur-like, I guess. I wish they would have kept, and I've said this before, I wish they would have kept the multifaceted eyes because that's very distinctly Gorn. And we see those in lower decks and things like that as well. Just to change the eye like that, it kind of annoys me. I wish they would have kept that the same. But overall, it appeared like an updated or a different, a northern Gorn. To me, this new one has a fucking long tail. Like the Gorn in Arena didn't have a tail. You know, it's way more animalistic. So I'm the other way. Like I think that the In the Mirror Darkly one is closer to the TOS one.
And Intimate Darkly didn't have a tail either.
I know, shouldn't.
Yeah. Well, so yeah, I mean, I think I would say they were closer to the new ones because of the change proportions. The Intimate Darkly Gorn was much taller, more gangly, far more mobile, unhuman proportions. The face was longer versus stouter,
Mhm.
and more expression or expression. So I think they're definitely closer, but it's like you're taking. It's almost like you're photocopying, right? The TOS one is the definitive, and Lower Decks just copied it. Cool. The Intimate Darkly was just we want to do something different. I don't quite know the logic. I wonder what the like because they could have made the Gorn suit.
They could have. They
Like
could have
literally,
made
they
it
could have
exact.
remade a
Yeah.
Gorn suit in TOS, in the Enterprise makeup, and they could have made a CG faithful Gorn. So I wonder why they went so different. Luckily, you can see the elements pulling from one to the other. They've just done massive exaggerations, but it is super different, right? It is one of the least faithful Enterprise redesigns. Like it isn't the
Hmm.
same,
Yeah.
but it's cool. It was done well, and it has enough of the isms. You know, this new one is that, and then another level of now we take that design. It's as if I mean they obviously did, but it's as if the Strange Worlds art department only saw the into a Darkly one, and they said, how to make this back into a man body because we want to make it physical, and so they made it less
Yeah, I could
lanky,
see that.
and they needed to have like they wanted to see all the teeth, so therefore the head had to go out further because to fit the teeth, and the guy's head had to go behind that, so had to make the head longer, whereas the CGI version, the one doesn't have that limitation. And they wanted longer arms so that they could again put people in it. Like I could see the rationale of the steps, which, in fairness, if the directive was just ignore TOS, like don't even look at it, because again, you compare the three to me, they've ignored TOS 100%, but they've taken the Intimate Darkly as an inspiration, but they have also ignored it. That's kind of why.
To be fair,
Yeah.
the teeth on all of them are pretty good. The teeth all match up to even like the TOS one with the scraggly teeth. Uh, but yeah,
It's just
yeah, I
very,
don't know.
very odd. It's such a choice. I'll never know why they made the choice of either.
And Sean O'Sullivan, €2, like Silurian, went
Haha.
asleep at different times, etc. Uh, there's a new poll up. Should these
Mm-hmm.
Gorn have been an updated TOS Gorn suit design
Mm-hmm.
or visual updated Strange New Worlds Gorn?
Mm-hmm. The most flat question we could possibly ask. But I want to know if you had to pick one, right? Because I would pick both. We said before.
Mm-hmm.
If that was sort of the option, if we got to have both, we've got to have the cake and eat it too of, yeah, sure. But you got to include the original.
Yeah.
It's just so odd what they pick and choose, right? So
The
odd.
Darth Eddy. The Enterprise Gorn gets a pass, mostly from me, because the Defiant is a faithful, beautiful TOS Connie, updated to look even more dynamic and vibrant. The
Mm.
TOS style Connie covers a multitude of sins. You're not wrong.
Mm.
There was a lot of love put into that. So, yeah.
True.
Um,
Be interesting to know the true rationale, right?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I get them wanting to make them more scary and intimidating. Like, plus we have the technology now with the suit that they built, as well as mixed with CGI to really do something that looks really. I get their thought process. I just wish there was a better explanation. But again, I would love to see an updated, modern version by the Strange New Worlds team of the traditional TOS Gorn, because I think it would also look scary and terrifying.
Yeah, skin detail. You know,
Yeah,
a face that could move.
yeah,
I was just gonna go back and watch the Gorn scene from Into a Mirror because I have not watched that in a little while. Which is pretty good for a
yeah.
TV budget, you know.
Yeah, I gotta say I haven't watched it lately either.
I
I
mean,
was gonna watch Arena today before this live, and I just did not get
mm,
around to it. I had other stuff going on.
because it's really ambitious to have, because it's Archer literally fighting the Gorn, and Archer's fighting nothing, and the Gorn's on top of nothing.
Mhm.
And it's a really
Not
ambitious
much of a
scene for TV. Like, yeah,
not much of a fight. I mean, turn up the grav plating. Let's crush them, basically.
well, he almost wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, the animation's great. They use the sporadic lighting to work.
Uh,
It's a threat, right? Because it's bigger, bulkier, stronger.
yeah.
Into
Jas
not.
Jaster says, but I do agree they should have used a different species or even a new alien. They don't have to always dig things up from the grave, because that is more fan service than anything if the story does not fit. I would say fan service, it's more, as Sam said,
Mm.
it's recognition, it's fan recognition. Like the Gorn, ooh, this will be exciting to see. Because we only saw them once. Or well, a few times, but
So it's right. Fan service, I've always disagreed with that as a concept because, as in the way it's portrayed in the media, because who are you making your show for? The fans, and what
mm,
keeps fans, you keep them happy. So servicing your fans is the point of a TV show. If TV shows don't tend to operate well, if every episode they change the vibe so drastically that those that started watching it hate it, you'll lose the fans, right? You can't do a murder mystery show where for 4 episodes it's a musical and expect, as in continuously musical, and expect people who like on a hardcore murder mystery, or like Dexter, which is a very specific tone, and then becomes a chill romantic comedy with puppies. Like, right? The point of the show is not is why you continue. You can tweak the theme, and sci-fi is more general for that, fine, but you can't just change it for the sake of it. So fan service is important because you are literally servicing the fans. Now, when you've got a broad universe, in most shows, like big events being referenced can become a bit too small universe syndrome. You said that before.
mm,
But it's different when it's aliens. Because if you've got a border with the Gorn Empire or hegemony, then
exactly.
they are always doing things in their space. Which means you can always create new stories of them doing something, us reacting, negotiations, and it's inbuilt. If you're creating a new race, then a good writer would say, let's look at the star map of the universe at the time. Oh shit. They've already said these are the 10 empires, the space is kind of filled. Now we'll invent a new alien race called the Rajak, and we'll put them right here, and we'll just erase 50% of Klingon space. That's fine, no one's gonna care. Well, now you've just betrayed a lot of people's universe, canon, whatever, and now you've got to
Yeah,
explain how
but
you've done that.
you could have a race that lives within the Gorn hegemony area of influence that is an unexplored part of their system they haven't got to yet, and these things wake up because of the radiation from a sun or whatever, and start to go on the attack, and then the Gorn get wind of it, and they're also getting attacked within
Sure.
their own borders. Like, you could have done something like that, and it's from Gorn space, so you assume it's the Gorn, and that we were kind of hoping that this was the case. You assume it's the Gorn, and eventually the Gorn do finally come in and step in and go, "Yeah, sorry about that. We got it under wraps now. We're good."
Well, no, exactly. Like by looking at the world and placing it, if like you say, if the point of the payoff is that the aliens we're introduced to are not the Gorn, but they're in Gorn space, and the payoff is that a TOS Gorn appears, gives fans this great moment where they have negotiations with April, and it's this really cool moment with a fully updated prosthetic, full conversation, you get a sense of the species, and you're gonna have to develop the species a bit, which helps the universe, and it be a twist. Then that's great. You're using one canon to tell a story. Normally, when you do this sort of prequel, why are you introducing an alien race? Either because they're so crucial to the era that it makes sense, or because you can actively improve the lore of the race, right?
Yeah.
Like you can add to it, which they've done many a time in many shows, and you're like, oh wow, I'm so glad I went there. But fan service is just tricky.
Like the Orions.
Yeah, why brought the Orions back? It's fan service. Well, yeah, but you just managed to fix a huge plot hole, right? There's a fan film I've written, I've shot, which involves the whale probe, and that's why I think when people say don't do fan service, because that's a specific thing. You're referencing a specific story and bring it back for the sake of it, right? In theory, the way I handled it was in the post Nemesis era, and why is a second one come? And the story moves on from there. The premise is the fan service, you could argue, but the story has nothing to do with that. There's a story within the story, and the characters, how they relate to it. But you're able to do something familiar, because as soon as you hear the whale probe noise, you know the stakes. And they are medium rare. Thank you. Like, it's a shorthand.
No, you're well done. You're toast.
Oh, you could be. That's why canon's important, because if you say a Cleon D7 is approaching, you know instantly what that means. If you say Icarian Voctor,
yeah. And Jaster says, well, I mean, for fan service, more so in the corporate sense, when they add a thing to build hype, but it is completely different from the canon, then no one is happy. Yeah. And yeah, the corporate mindset is to do that. Like, what's something that's untapped that we can get into that people will recognize?
I've never quite understood the need to throw that in that specific example of doing that, but if it pisses your fans off so they won't come back, why is the hype worth it to trick them? I've never got that. Like, so
they're going to be pissed. They're going to be pissed they were tricked.
Yeah.
And that it's different.
Like, you've gained the money now, but you've lost money in the future. And
they don't think the new mindset is to not think about the future. It's all about now. How much can we make now? Now.
Like, there's a tangible, notable why Solo did worse, because Last Jedi was the one before it. They burned so many bridges with The Last Jedi that didn't go see Solo. It was a tangible reaction because they pissed off so much of the fan base, and they've never recovered.
Yep.
And they thought it was a good plan to make the hero of the entire saga, Luke, be a pathetic little shithead. They really thought that was a good plan. Like, and they suffered, and they're still suffering for that.
Yeah.
And they didn't, and they were going to make money either way. That's the irony thing. Like, you're going to make money either way. You won't gain more money for him to be in it. He was already in it. And just because the line, I mean, they had some press, Jai are dead, kill them if you have to, but only the trailer's fine. That's some press, but also normally misdirect, right?
Yeah, you can make the argument too that in their mindset it generates conversation. All these people bashing it, and the people they're defending it, and it keeps it in the zeitgeist by having the controversy. So people are talking about our stuff. They're going to want to watch it because people are saying it's bad. So people are going to come in and check it out to see for themselves. I can see that mindset going on, but then there's the other people that deliberately won't watch it because of what's been said. So I don't understand the corporate mindset because they don't think things through.
Yeah.
The Darth Eddie says the Trandosians, Bosk species in Disney Star Wars, are no longer static rubber masks, but have blinking eyes and moving mouths, but still look classic Trandosians, just more organic. Yes, and that's what we would have loved for the Gorn.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most appropriate thing. It's like, yeah, this is the design. How can you enhance it based on the design? That's it.
Fan service absolutely has a place, but it's not an absolute. It can be overused. TNG didn't make itself great by having every other scene a TOS callback. It had a few tastefully included, though. Yes, and the second episode, Naked Now, or the third episode, depending how you look at it. Um, when that came out, I remember reading in Starlog or something an angry letter that somebody wrote saying, "This new show should stand on its own. It shouldn't have to rely on TOS as a crutch." Because they directly referenced the Enterprise and the exact same plague that they dealt with in the Naked Time. So you're going to get backlash no matter what you do. But it just, yeah, that was a thing at the time. And the people are afraid that, yeah, every second episode is going to have a direct TOS reference or just a remake of one of the classic stories, right?
And Matthew Trekyardians comments back on me about The Last Jedi. He says, yes, but we all talked about The Last Jedi. We did. And then they lost hundreds of millions of dollars afterwards from lack of sales of toys.
Yes.
I don't think it was worth the press to lose hundreds. Probably lost over $1 billion in revenue they would have got otherwise if it had been a good 3 films with the original cast doing cool things. Like, lost excitement, lost legacy, not showing your kids the new series. You know, like, part of the old films is that you got inspired. What kids were inspired by the sequels who are then going to be lifelong Star Wars fans? Lots were for the prequels. I can't imagine anybody seeing the new 3 and thinking they were really amazing and inspire them. It's, oh, cool. The other 6 are good. Like, it's not... That isn't really a thing. You know, because they're just fundamentally not even good visual. I don't know.
But guys, super chat in. We do have our top fans.
Yes.
Where you guys can be the top fan. Right now, Ozzy is. He's number 1.
Amazing.
Keith Jeffrey, 1974, is number 2. And Rakados, I don't know if I'm saying that right still, is number 3. You can get yourself up on the leaderboard there by chatting or super chatting. So if you want to super chat in, we do read all of those and direct them or directly comment on them and talk about them. So if you have a thought or a theory about the Gorn you want to throw out, please consider super chatting. We appreciate it.
And there's 62 people watching, but if you don't want us to talk about Stranger Worlds and go back to our other shows where we do fun game shows, because I was interested, fair enough. We won't do more Stranger Worlds lives, sub-lives. We want to be part of the conversation, be right and present, and since you guys have some strong thoughts, etc. So, you know, help us out by having part of the conversation, and
Ooh. Michael Williams has a very good comment. If it is a hegemony, TOS may have shown us the brightest leader subspecies as captain. Stranger Worlds has shown us pilots and guards who could be a more feral subspecies. They could have done this. They didn't. Well, they might be doing that. Hopefully they might follow up on it. But yes, that's kind of what we talked about already. Yeah. Darth Eddie, into TNG's credit, it took them almost 80 episodes to bring a TOS character back and played by the original actors. Sarek didn't appear until near the end of season 3. Trek today can't wait a month. Well, that's because they only have 10 episodes a goddamn season as opposed to 26. So yeah, they need to get those cameos and those references in more often.
It's also no longer appointment viewing, because we don't all watch it at 7 p.m. on Thursday, where we make a point of watching it. I mean, me and Stuart watch about the same time because we're doing it before reviews, but I bet no one in the chat watched it at the same exact time to the minute as someone else in the chat. So now you need social media to say, oh, did you see episode 4? And there's a sort of spoiler in the thumbnail to get people to say, oh, I'll watch it. Whereas it's back in the day, of course I'm going to watch TNG every week at 7 p.m. because that's what I do with my kids, or that's what I do after work. Like, you watched it either way. Oh, I missed one. That's fine. I'll TV guide what happened. Cool. I'll see it on reruns if it gets there. Like, it was different. Yep. So they need the social media to be a thing because they're fighting, you know, you to watch it. But
even if you did miss the appointment viewing, your friend down the street who recorded it on a brand new VCR, which your family doesn't have, you'd go watch it with him, so it would still be a shared experience watching it with him to talk about. There was a different time.
And briefly on Star Wars again, because just finish off that thought. I know the quality of the films was not as good, but you know, this is a direct parallel of the interest based on those. Force Awakens made 2.07 billion. Right? Cool.
Everybody's excited for Star Wars returning.
Yep. Now, obviously, some people are not going to enjoy that film and not come back for the second. But with that many bad reviews for Last Jedi, and there were so many, that's going to stop people from watching it, even with the reviews, and then people see it, and that only made 1.3 billion, so it made 700 million less, and definitely bad reviews are a big part of that. And then those did see it, a lot didn't like it, so that obviously hurt. But there's a lost 0.7 billion, 700 million less. The third film only made just over a billion, by 1.7, so it made a billion less than the first one. Had they made 3 good films, it should have been roughly the same, but that's a billion less of interest. And it's not because, there's obviously lots of reasons, but it's not because it was oversaturated. The third in the trilogy, a billion less.
And as you mentioned earlier, Solo: A Star Wars Story suffered. All of their subsequent movies they had planned suffered, and some of those movies got turned into streaming shows.
Yeah,
Because
pissing off
people
fans.
boycotted Solo. Yeah.
At the very least, pissing off fans lost them 300 million for not seeing the next one. I was certainly less inclined to see it. I was going to, but I was less inclined. Pissing off fans isn't a good play. Just to get hype, just to get discussion. It's not a good thing.
Yeah. Feed Me Seymour says, I know the Gorn are supposed to be a singular race of beings, but I did wonder if the Gorn is more of a species category, like how we have lizards, but there are many lizards. Sure.
Well, that's the age-old problem with anything in Trek. It would seem silly that all Andorians have white hair and blue skin.
Yeah, and all Deltans have the white long hair with the long Fu Manchu mustache.
Yeah, we don't. The fact there's a very black-looking person in Africa and a very pale person in, like, a Canadian top of the, like, where there's no sun, and you put them side to side, it's like, huh. And then you pull in a not a native Asian man who looks like very classic. It's like these 3 look so different. Just all their facial structure is different. Even the bone structure is different, right? Black guy's very tall and strong. White guy's pale and has all those things are so different, right? And yet we associate all Andorian looking blue and that. But
then you get the Aenar, which are lighter skinned, but they still have the Andorian look.
But they're also not on the same planet. They're on a moon.
Well, exactly.
They're different species of whatever. That's a whole one to go for. But you would not be happy seeing an Andorian with red skin and green hair. You just wouldn't think of an Andorian. So that's kind of these species natured. I mean, Star Wars as well, right? Greedo as a defined look. You'd think it was weird if he had blue skin and antenna. It wouldn't be that species, so you kind of have to do it with alien races to keep them consistent. So there was a point to the chat. Oh, it's singular species, yeah. So having Gorn be Gorn is important, but the Gorn you can have subspecies, that's fine, but it's still within a theme.
Yeah.
There was absolutely Last Jedi backlash, undeserved as it was, but at cost Solo revenue. I mean, you piss off half your fans, justifiably. You get 50% of fans don't come back, or percentage of them. It's very terrible film.
Classic for real. Remember Shran calling Archer pink skin, and Mayweather's all like, "I'm right over here, dude."
Wouldn't have quite worked if said brown skin.
Yeah,
that wouldn't have even flown in 2004. That would have been a bad joke though, and then Archer say, "Oh, that wouldn't have been said though, because they're not racist and straight. Wouldn't have thought that was a thing."
No.
Gosh, the guy from Deadless episode, the transporter guy, and Android's like, "Hey, black skin." It's like, oh.
Yeah. The Darth Eddie, and then there's the weird Andorian from season 3 of TNG with the really long segmented antenna and giant wig of heavy metal hair, and more bluish skin. I mean, and the Andorians we see in TOS are different from the ones we see in Enterprise. The structure of the antenna is different, plus they're further back on the head. So I mean,
there's also one in TNG on the Riser planet as well. I think it's the same rough makeup.
Yeah.
We never saw until our review.
Yeah.
And they do look weird. Put them side by side, it's weird. Yeah. But they did. You're right. They did do that. They made that choice.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's not forget the TNG episode where they meet the progenitors. That explains why everyone looks like humans with rubber foreheads.
The most important episode in all Trek.
And then Discovery comes in and just totally whatever. Anyway, moving on.
Yeah, all they have to do fundamentally is say there are multiple Gorn species, multiple Gorn thing, and the Gorn is not a name of a race. Gorn is the name of a category from the part of the a classification there of the Gorn area. And just like the Zindi and there are Gorn subspecies, they're all kind of taken into the same umbrella. Maybe the TOS Gorn race, they went in, found the creatures on subsequent moons around their system, subjugated them, brought them back, bred them different ways to make them or whatever, and bam, you've got a multifaceted Gorn subspecies all from the same Gorn system. Done, right? Super easy.
Yeah. Amy Seymour says, I would love to see Strange New Worlds do a Mugatu. Yeah, let's see how they change that. And Feed Me Seymour also goes on to say, ooh, Will Ferrell has to play the Mugatu in Strange New Worlds. That would be the thing. In Zoolander, Will Ferrell his name's Mugatu. He even has a shirt that says Mugatu on it because Ben Stiller, who wrote it, is a huge Star Trek fan. That's why the white hair too for Mugatu. Anyway, that'd be hilarious to have Will Ferrell actually do a Mugatu.
I don't know why Ben Stiller hasn't been approached to be in Star Trek then.
Right?
Imagine if Ben Stiller...
Anybody that cares about Star Trek gets the cold shoulder, like Seth MacFarlane. Even though he was in 200 episodes of Enterprise, yes, but
yeah, you would think Ben being a multi-millionaire, well, I'm sure he's earning more in a year savings than we earn in a year, right? Just an interest. Why?
Combined.
Yeah, yeah. Why can't he go up to CBS and say, "I want to direct a Star Trek episode"? And they say that'd be a huge. Like, imagine. I didn't know he was a director personally, because I like Ben as an actor. But he directed some of the Severance episodes, which is apparently getting great reviews, and he's been in all the press tours as a director, which is tremendous. So imagine if Ben Stiller got announced as the director of Star Trek 4.
That'd be awesome.
Exactly. And then also in it, because why would you not put yourself in your own film? Because I know he was on a Jimmy Kimmel show, whatever, Conan O'Brien, and he was talking about how he owns like a TOS original prop, like one of the high end, like one of the properly rare ones, like a tricorder. And he's trying to explain it to I think it was Conan, I think. Yeah. And they don't quite get it, like how rare it is and how valuable. It's like, this is like a one of two from the six. Like, how much did it cost? Don't ask.
Yeah.
And we know it's like, that's like 80K, 100K. That's like 1% of his salary from his films. Oh. Good to be rich.
Ryan K says, not saying I want to see it in Strange New Worlds, but in my opinion, Bolians are underused in the franchise. There were Bolians in episode 2.
It was great
this season.
Yeah.
And they look good. Yeah.
I'm surprised they're there, but
yeah, well.
But in fairness, you can join the Federation, not join Starfleet.
Yes.
So totally fine. I mean, there's no reason they're not in Starfleet except we didn't see them until TNG. But it would certainly be cool if we get the first Bolian in Starfleet. Like, what a weird one to throw in. But I think the Bolians always look really cool. They're just silly, but not interesting, but not. It's a safe bet. And if you get bald actors, then even easier.
And Geek Filter, Aaron is here. He says, well, hegemony means friendship or dominance, especially by one country or social group over others. That could be dominance over several similar species, races. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the live, Aaron. So glad you're here. Thank you for joining us again.
Yeah, bad Zindi.
Yeah.
Already kind of bad. Yeah, and as I said, that might be the final payoff, right? But we'll get there when we get there. It just feels like such an own goal. Like, what did they think the fans were going to say? Oh, that's so much cooler than what we've known for 60 years. Like, he's...
The new fans. Fans would see a picture of the old Gorn and go, oh, it's just a rubber suit. This is way better.
Yeah, but they say it for everything, TOS. Everything.
I know.
Like, that's
thinking. Let's get the new fans in. Who gives a shit about the old fans?
At least for that, specifically. I don't know, it just seems odd to, like, it's such an own goal.
Don't apologize, Aaron. A lot of people come in later and we'd already discuss things. So yeah.
But we want the conversation, so do bring up and we can say go back and watch earlier. It's just so odd to have such an intentionally, like, even the Klingons, they didn't change the like ultra lore, they just changed the look. You know, like if the Klingons suddenly liked cannibalism, like weird stuff, that'd be like, oh, okay, that changes everything I feel about them. You know, it's an odd own goal.
And Jester Berkman says they should have learned from the JJ video game that had the Gorn that looked basically like Strange New Worlds ones, and no one liked them. Yeah, we talked about that earlier too. And I don't have a problem with those Gorn being different because they're from the Kelvin verse, like a distinctly different universe. They're trying to say that Strange New Worlds is Prime, so I don't know. I just
that's a get out of jail free card. Anything that verse, just like, oh, alt, which is fine, right? It works. I don't know. As we said, it's so odd, the resolution. So I had an interchange with somebody who was quite negative towards my opinions in our review. Woo!
Of course.
Yes. And he was saying that we were dumb, mostly me. So you're welcome. About not understanding the end of the episode, because I still have a hard time understanding it. They said, basically, simply, we're idiots because it is a lensing thing. Any angle on the system makes the interplanetary system invisible. Doesn't matter where you're on the system, you can't see it. There's the whole point of it. It's a light trick, and their system is basically invisible from all angles. And I'm thinking, how is that possible? From all angles, a full system, and the way they present it, where they go through something, which means it's a distinct point, and then in front and behind, it's just like, that's not what they showed.
Like from a certain planet, the suns might block the system, but yeah, from other angles, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, because like if the sun's there, does it work if one sun's hidden? Is light being refracted when you're literally obscuring it? If you can't see the sun, does as in like if it's just off the view, can you now see the system on sensors because you're no longer light's being reflected because you're not using light anymore, using scans? If scans being reflected, then the whole system would look like a non-system. It would look like a weird anomaly, right?
Yeah. Area 51's like, are there any astrophysicists in the house that could explain it? I mean, you need to get Neil deGrasse Tyson on here to explain it to us. Like,
because they
explain
tried
it to us as if we were children.
Yeah,
classic for real though.
Oh,
throws in $5 in his insanely weird fashion. In anime, fan service means those big boob mecha girls that I keep making you rate. Yes, fan service is different in that regard.
B tier. There you go, rated. I still don't understand. The Enterprise was further in the system to the Gorn. So the Gorn can't disappear in front of the Strange Worlds Enterprise because the Strange Worlds Enterprise would then also be disappeared if it was in front of the lensing distortion. If it's through the effect, it wasn't. So how did the Gorn disappear? They can't. I just don't understand it. Maybe it was a trick for us, but then I just don't understand it. I just don't understand it. Like, it was so specific how it showed things.
Yes.
Does anyone think they know? Now 73 viewers, which is tremendous. Like, can you explain? And we'd love to get at least 10 more super chats to end out in the last bit. Show your support if you can. 72 of you here, which is amazing. Do let us know.
Geek Filter says Aaron McDonald used to scientifically review our improvised Star Trek show. No pressure there.
I did. There's a black hole, but it was in reference to a different star system in a previous mission that they dealt with the Gorn, as in the fleet. That wasn't that system, because you can't have a black hole and two stars in the same system. Because no, because black holes are suns, and I don't think you can have a full life cycle and a gravity affect each other. Yeah, I don't think it works. But seriously, who understood the ending? I mean, should I try and find the comment and review it verbatim? Maybe that'll help. It was that cogent.
If you want.
Uh,
Mm. Yeah. Uh, I mean, a binary star system, 2 stars, planets around them. Did it mass the entire system? But still, the Enterprise was in the system between the stars.
and also they got literally between two suns, so the Gorn
Yeah.
planet would have to be thousands of kilometers away, which means it was away from the suns, which means you could detect it. They either have to go through it, past it, around it. It's not at the
Yeah.
suns. If it
Yeah.
is, then the Gorn are literally living on a planet that's burned to a crisp every day. Like, I'm fine they evolved on a planet that's not habitable for us. That's fine. But I don't think a planet can exist between two suns and create life like that, and then evolve ships that can then leave the planet between two gravities of two suns and not be crushed and killed. It's don't know. Okay, are you ready for the Are you ready for the thing? And see if you guys agree. That's the comment.
Sure. Yes. I'm
From
ready.
I'm not even gonna credit them because So you completely missed what was going on with the binary stars. Gravitational lensing created a natural cloaking effect that hid the planetary system behind them. Scotty and Pellier also said the shields would be down while they were simulating the star. I commented back. I said, damn! Mr. Cocking's alt account fighting the comments. Wasn't fighting, it was just the account I've logged in on my computer. Hey, why do you think red letter... Oh, that's the whole thing. You don't understand gravitational lensing. The whole solar system will be more or less obscure from most angles. Maybe from a different vector and we look further away, or even look closer. But the star is literally warp. The path of light around them obscuring the solar system. They even said that it would be vulnerable. They said they'd be vulnerable while they were using deflector to pull in the stellar matter to replicate the phenomenon that would put the Gorn to sleep. Why are they not dead then? Yeah, I said
The visual clearly showed their shields up, but they were between the two suns.
yeah, the bubbles being hit. And also they'd be dead because the gravity they'd be dead. And then someone else commented, this is not the same person, said, Janeway did in scientific method, they were not two binary stars, but two pulsars. It can be done. As I said, you can't be in between them. I said, yeah, Pre-TOS, Connie, and Intrepid are actually radically different ships in terms of technology. So you would not be able to do that. What do you guys think? Does that make sense? Whatever you said about lensing? Because, like, but behind you will just go around. It wouldn't obscure the whole system. I don't think that's how gravitational lensing works. And not the way they showed it either. I don't know. Just didn't make sense to me. And it's their home system. It's an important canon moment, but it doesn't feel like it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if you were doing something really cool, right? You should have had a cutaway to the planet and see.
Yes.
But then you have to show the planet, which means you have to show the if it's literally as was shown, right? Then a planet with unlimited brightness, 2 stars in the sky, as close as our moon, but closer, well, much closer, really. And like it looks up, and then like less feral, you could show that. But then you have to show the planet in between the stars. You have to set what the truth is, and it's like, I don't think people like that.
Yeah. Darth Eddy, the rogue planet in season 1 of Enterprise, is similarly baffling from a scientific point of view. A lush tropical ecosystem and numerous life forms, both plant and animal, but no sun, no sunshine. Yeah, they kind of explain it that the heat's generated from the planet for heat, but yeah, you don't need plants if there's no photosynthesis. And yeah, that always kind of stuck with me too. But there are such things as rogue planets. I just doubt they'd be teeming with life. Just saying.
And of course, you are the 1 out of a trillion chance, like we are on Earth, that we evolved. You know, we think it was 1 as 1, and it is 1 of 1 because it happened. But also the chance of doing it again is 1 in a whatever.
Yeah. 3 seasons so far is the Gorn, the major bad guy of Strange New
Yep,
Worlds. So
100%.
far, the
Um,
way they capped that episode means we probably won't see them again till Arena because it's like, oh, this is a problem for somebody else down the road.
Arson season
Okay,
5. What? The
maybe.
the road of a year. And Sergeant
I'd be
Montgomery's.
surprised if the Gorn didn't come back though with the end of the episode 2.
Mm-hmm.
So
And Sergeant Montgomery says, "What? Um, what if it was Was it their shields or the magnetic field they created with the Enterprise? That's what I thought they did. They created a magnetic field. Yeah, without the shields, they'd burn up instantly. They're between two suns with gravity and heat and radiation and light. Shields are crucial. Even saying the magnetic field was enough to protect them, then why wouldn't you argue why don't they make that instead of shields in the future? Like, you need shields to live. And they were saying that they're magnetic, and like I was fine with them saying the radiation is almost fatal through shields next to a sun. But if their hulls can take that for that many minutes and not hurt any single person, then that's God tech. You know, that's easy. Just fly next to a sun. It's easy, easy.
mhm. Jaster, I'm mostly sad because I love the TOS Gorn and I was so happy with the disco skeleton and the ones in lower decks, and then these ones show up. Yeah, you're right there with us, Jaster. Um,
I just hope we see him by the end. And it would be fine if the last appearance they make a big whole thing. You know, cold open, April. I mean, it's very similar to the BSG opening. You know, cold open, April's on a space station. He's talking to an ensign. She's like, "I don't want to be here, sir. I know you don't, but this is an important negotiation." And then you heard, he turns. And he steps out the shadows of Tira Scorn and he blinks and his eyes go slits and not whatever. And he's like, "Hello, Grand Chancellor." Q episode. Oh, that's a cold open. Oh, be great.
mhm.
And then, ironically, you could do it. You could retcon it within their own retcon, right? You could actually flash back each time we've seen the Gorn and show a command Gorn on the ship in a bridge that was on every time, and change and
Yeah,
reframe each episode. Oh, we sent the warriors. Oh no, the guys that attacked them in episode 1 of the season are just the weak shitty Gorn on deck 107. Like, they're down near Reclamation, which is near Shell Bay 7. Like, it's the shitty one. Like, they're our ninth cast. We hate them.
they're the lower deckers. They're Delta
Yeah,
shift.
we hate them. So I put them there. Like, you could do that. But guys, last 15 minutes, we'd love to get at least another 3 super chats of any kind. Would be great. $12 to hit a very small goal would be nice. 64 of you. Finals, something would be absolutely tremendous. And
Yeah, Aaron says there was a Gorn in Time Trap. Yep, mentioned the animated series earlier as well. Um, all visually the same
well, why wouldn't
for
it be?
this. Exactly.
But also, question to everybody in the chat: would you like to see a Gorn in Trek shorts?
Now, would they be cargo shorts or more like a bathing suit? Maybe short shorts like Magnum PI wore, but just say Trek on them, like Trek shorts? I'm curious. I'm genuinely curious. Or would they be like long denim shorts like John Cena wears?
They would be, yes.
Then I want to see it.
No, yeah. Seriously though. You know, I may or may not have some reference material for the Intro and Darkly Gorn.
It may or may not.
They're pretty cool. I know I have the Gorn model from one of the games, and it's terrible because it's an animated over the top looking one. So it's like, I don't really have character model people, so I would love to build a TOS Gorn and do that, but I don't really have access to that as an ability set. But would you want to see Gorn in Trek shorts? Because, you know, some do, some don't. Cause it's quite, you know, difficult. Not difficult is a bad thing, just, you know. Do you want to see them, Stuart? Would that be like how fun?
I vote yes. I
Mm.
vote yes. Yeah, I vote yes for that for sure. I would love to see that. I think that'd be amazing. Would you address the Strange New Worlds Gorn at all?
I don't have access to them, so no. You know what I mean? Like the
Well,
yeah.
you just reference them. Like, sorry about that. Those were just
Mm. Yeah, just a bit. Stowe is very hard to work with, and also very low detail. Well, I've not considered that. I wonder. Oh no, I like Tholians. Tholians are good. I like working with
Aliens are
Tholians.
good.
Yeah, they're more predefined.
Mm-hmm.
Imagine if they'd gone Tholian instead. So you can have a lot more fun with Tholians. I feel like because they're so like basic that I could totally buy the spiders looking really different, like having loads of
Yeah,
variations
absolutely. Yeah.
and different colors, and that could be and just crystal pyramid triangles. That's all you need as the art design, and you can go really weird and go really. Oh, they missed a trick there. I love the classic Tholians a lot. Well, I say classic; they were just a helmet. I like the Upvision reboot update Tholians because the classic was just a helmet, but I like the, um, you know,
I know what you mean.
yeah. I wonder if there is any Gorn. G. Where is G? D F G.
Guys, hit the like button if you haven't. We have 68 likes. I'd like to get to 70 possibly. So if you haven't hit like yet, please do. Super chat in if you're able to. It does help us out. And we love having these conversations because they, especially with you guys, you bring up things that we maybe have forgotten or didn't think of. And it's just hanging out with people that love Trek and chatting about it. So
Maybe you designed the Gorn and would like to say something about that. Because hey, I always say, if you have an idea, as in like there can be a reason why. And it might just be as simple as you were told to, but there's a reason, right?
sure. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
I want to know why.
Let's close out the poll.
Mm-hmm.
67 votes, which is really great.
Mm-hmm.
Should these Gorn have been? The winner is an updated Gorn suit design. TOS Gorn suit design was 66%.
Okay.
And then 34% say visual updated Strange New Worlds Gorn. So most people are choosing the TOS over even this. I think did you mean Enterprise Gorn on that one?
No, I meant
Oh,
either the classic or this new. No, no intermirror.
gotcha.
Just this
Gotcha.
or that. There's nothing in between.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's and that's sort of and that was a very clear question, right? If that reflects the audience, then going for an audience is fine, but that's the majority of a hardcore Trek audience
Mm-hmm.
want to see classic Gorn. So yes, you can work for new fans, but if you're only getting 30% of your fans are excited, that's not a lot, right? It's
Yeah.
not, you're losing, at least you're not gaining with the same enthusiasm.
Evening Seymour. Trek to the left of me, Trekyards to the right. Here I am
Mm.
enjoying Strange New Worlds. Indeed.
We are too,
Yes.
and we hope for all to make sense.
Many more great things to come. Apparently, there's a lot of TOS references in this season.
Ah,
So,
well, we're getting closer, aren't we? So, in theory,
better or for worse. We'll see how it goes.
yeah, it's tricky because you can both be excited and also but it's like there's case studies for both examples of being good and bad, you know? Now there is. Yeah. Yeah.
They missed a marshmallows reference they could have done in episode 2 with the Vulcan human fusion food. It did include marshmallows and Vulcan blood cure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep. Big friendly Gorn, BFG.
Mm.
Wow.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh,
Hey, geek
wow.
filter. Yeah. We do like aliens. Darth Eddie. Hey, maybe, maybe not. Maybe, maybe not. Yeah.
They made them too much like aliens or too animalistic. It's already hard to imagine how the Klingons could build a spacefaring civilization, let alone these basically wild animals. Yeah.
Did they say how they lay their eggs? And they're not even eggs, are they? Just biological DNA that grows.
Yeah, I think you either get bit or something, and that they just start growing in you, and they put you in like a cocoon thing. It's because the colony that Lon was on, they were, I think, held in cocoons,
But
similar to
then,
the digestive thing.
in the episode where they found them, there was that big alien who just burst in the back. There was no cocoon. He was just they just appeared. So they don't need a cocoon. They just come out. Because I'm thinking if they're, how do they evolve? Right, a fish, the bit another person and injected eggs, and that back burst doesn't take any DNA from them. A la xenomorph, it just creates them again. So they just
Maybe
biped.
it's like maybe it's literally like the xenomorphs. Whoever they infest, the one
Oh,
that breaks out looks like the hybrid of the two. So now, because of all this, that's why the TOS, that's why the Gorn and TOS looks human, more human, because it's one of these babies that's grown up. No tail, more human
I see what you
features.
mean. Like it takes a few years, and therefore we finally made human. But that's
Well,
interesting.
we know they grow really fast because in that one episode aboard the Somber class, they hatched out and like literally within like hours they were much larger.
But it wasn't the size of the adult, which we've seen. It's just huge, right? Nor a
Yeah, but I
sentient.
mean, give them another couple months, and I'm sure they'd be up to that if they keep up that rate of growth. Anyway,
Hmm.
so yeah, that explains it because they infected humans on these colonies, and some of them got away. That's what the TOS Gorn is. It's a human Gorn hybrid.
So I'm just,
Problem solved.
because it's just, if you evolve and on their homeworld, they're just grabbing sheep, Gorn space sheep, and just infecting them with eggs and then hatching, and then they make Gorn egg. You know, like they had to evolve somewhere doing something. Is that really? And I always refer to the Gorn
Yeah.
wedding. It's like, oh, it's their honeymoon. They want to start having a family, so they grab a random slave from their colony, inject them, brutally watch their
Or one
back
of their
burst, and then watch their kids fight, murder each other to have the best one. I know we didn't think necessarily they just had normal sex and made normal babies, but it's like, oh,
yeah. They just grabbed one of their guests that came to the wedding. They're coming with us tonight.
that's why they. That's well. I mean, it's boy. If every Gorn can do that, then them biting Rutherford really changes that game. That's what they did at the end of the scene. They were beating Rutherford.
Yeah.
Darth Eddie says they laid eggs in darkness. Yeah, I'm fine with eggs, like actual eggs.
Yes.
That would have
Yeah. Yeah.
been, fine.
Geek Filter says then it becomes even more like Alien. I mean, they already are pretty much exactly like it. So, and that'd be an interesting solution to the TOS Gorn problem. Ah,
Like you can't copyright an alien that can take DNA from another alien. Really, it's a concept, right? But it's just
yeah.
bankrupt as a concept. That's one. Like, are there any other races that do that? It's like with the Kabali, right? That's why they're interesting because that. Have you ever seen a alien race that takes cadavers,
Mm.
makes them alive again, but in doing so, it injects them with their DNA of someone, and then it creates a hybrid, but not really. Like that's a really interesting concept. Why
Yeah.
it's so interesting, DNA rewrite because they're corpses, so we're able to, that's super interesting. If you did that again in something else, you're like, oh, that's the I did that. Hmm.
Interesting.
I don't know. I will give them some benefit of the doubt that they will come to their senses, have had their 4 years of experiment, and then do it properly the last season. Especially, I mean, it somewhat works when it comes to they said they want to connect TOS. They're ending Stranger Worlds with him as the Captain Enterprise. Cool, right? Great, super. But by the same token, they don't need to have other things come together. With it being important that Kirk makes that addressing, but they might decide in the last season to have those symbolic, meet Kang, meet Koloth, do some direct things to kind of add to it. We've only got 6, right? That might be their goal if it's a last chance, and maybe even if they're thinking, if we've had our fun every season, last season we'll do that. And if fans really resonate with us, using the canon more than we have before, like faithfully, then they might be a fan result to get a TOS continuation, which gets them a salary. Because while as creative as you want to be and do TV shows, Akiva Goldsman has had a salary for 5 years. I'm sure many millions a year, allowing him to pay for his LA home, go on expensive holidays, buy cars, being employed multi-millions a year. Because showrunners get a lot of money. So they'd rather have another show straight away so they can get more multi-millions.
Well, yeah.
To be rich, one of those high ups in whatever. It's in their interest to get more.
Yeah.
All right, any final thoughts, guys? We'd love to get $2 more. 12 would be ideal, but 2 to get us to a tiny goal. Any last thoughts in those last couple of minutes? As Stuart's going to tell us the rest of the week's plans, because we have the rest of the week and plans.
Tomorrow, join me for my first reaction to episode 3 at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on the Trekyards channel. And then Friday, of course, we have our full breakdown and review of the next episode. And of course, we'll have breakdown videos coming out as we tend to do. So make sure you're subscribed and all that. So that's the schedule so far.
And we think it might be the Klingon zombie one, based on some subtext and little things.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, there's only so many episodes, right? So there's not that much, But cool. I mean, that's I think you said before, but good to have all the stuff we know happen soon, early on, so then you don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
So I'm all for that as well. So it might be great. It'll definitely, if it is going to be the Klingon, there'll definitely be some discussions to have about the reuse of the Klingon assets from Discovery, how far they go with that, etc., etc.
All right. Well, I think we'll call it there. Somebody just fell upstairs. I gotta go see if they're dead. And
well, let us know.
Yeah. So until next time, he's Commander Cockings.
He's got a Foley.